of you here are aspiring for civil services? Okay, you want to write civil service exam. Done. Have anyone tried here? Only few. So you are going to write. And I can tell you, this era is a golden era for civil services, particularly for civil services examination. The reason being, when I wrote my exam, there were 411 posts in 2004. In 2002, the last rank is 273. And you know, in 2022, the notification carries 1011 posts. That itself is something like a golden era. We used to call and dream whether we get a jumbo notification when we are preparing. And we used to think that if there are 1000 posts, definitely a serious candidate, if not in 1 year, at least in 2 years, can succeed in this examination. So I can tell you proudly that this era, for the next 3-4 years, if you try well, you are going to be in civil services because of large notifications with large, I can tell you there are so many vacancies. And last week there was a question in Parliament for which DOPT minister answered, only in IAS, there were around 15 posts vacant. Okay, there were 1515 posts below the cadre strength, and they are going to fill up these 15 posts only in IAS. And rest of services like IPS, IRS, we have so many. So this jumbo notification culture is going to continue for the next few years. So it's the right time for an aspirant to write the exam. Don't postpone the exam. So after 4 years I am going to write, after 5 years I am going to write. I don't think that down the line 5 to 10 years you will have such a prosperous period in civil services. So those who are aspiring, this is the right time, I can tell you. And coming to the examination and examination pattern, the examination system, and people say civil services is a tough nut to crack. It's very difficult to crack the civil service exam. But I say those who are passing the exams, as I have seen most of them as friends and now as students, they are all normal human beings like you and me. If they can do it, why can't we do it? This is the first thing. So it is not the knowledge in all the subjects. And just now, 10 minutes before, I have made a small visit of your university at one end. And I have seen so many departments, Department of Chemistry, Department of Nanotechnology, Department of Health, Department of Social Sciences. I have seen so many departments. And I thought, these are all the various subjects in our civil services. And if we start doing research today in each and every topic, and throughout our life we need to stay in University of Hyderabad. If you start doing each and every sentence, the research. So civil services wants the people with jack of all trades but master of none. We want the people with jack of all trades but master of none. Don't try to master each and every topic. You don't require to master each and every topic. It is enough to know the basic points. In fact, I can tell you, for all the students and aspirants who are sitting here to write the UPSC exam, that first of all, take the printout of your syllabus, collect the civil services syllabus on each and every topic, try to write 10 points. I can tell you that 1/4 of your preparation is over. If you take out your syllabus and write topics, and on each topic, if you write 10 points, 1/4 of your preparation is over. That is the beginning thing which you need to do. As already you are in a university, the most prestigious university in India, and for your university there is a constitutional position also, and in this university if you can sit and do a syllabus analysis, it will be more good and grateful. I wish to tell you first, for prelims, mains and interview, collect the UPSC syllabus and on each and every topic try to make 10 points. Make it a daily habit. Every day 2-3 hours you should sit and do this homework first. And what are the subjects we need to study in civil services? And what are the areas which we need to focus? As you all know, if you see the ocean, it looks like it is full of water. We cannot swim across or dive across very shortly, and it will take a long time and practice. But if you know the technique of how to swim or how to dive, then you will really survive, right? In the same way, civil services syllabus, if you see as such, it looks like an ocean, but if you try to know the technique of the exam by seeing the pattern, you will definitely find a pattern for the exam, for which I will tell you the syllabus and pattern now. See, I can tell you from last 50-60 years, there are 4 core pillars of the examination: polity, history, geography, economy. Polity, history, geography, economy. These are the 4 core pillars of civil services examination, and these subjects are static in syllabus. And the current affairs part we need to add. I will tell you about that after some time. So, polity, history, geography, economy, they are the 4 core pillars of civil service exam. And above that, the trending subjects are science and technology, art and culture, international relations, environment, ecology, biodiversity. And now from last 2-3 years, we are seeing few questions from agriculture, questions from government schemes and programs, questions in 2021 prelims, even from sports. So, the examination, first of all you should know the comprehension and syllabus. Now, coming to each subject, if it is polity, generally people study the constitution. Along with the constitution, we need to specifically emphasize on panchayats and municipalities. We need to provide a great emphasis on political parties and party system, and we are also expected to know about pressure groups, and we should also study about various public policies and governance schemes and programs. All these things we need to cover up in polity. For example, recently there is a controversy with respect to the post of governor, and one article is coming up in news, article 163 of the constitution, governor's discretionary powers. Okay, you need to focus on article 163, what is that? And recently the Telangana State Legislative Assembly budget session started without governor's speech. So, you should know which articles deals with and what is the provision with respect to president's speech in the parliament and governor's speech in the state legislature. In the parliament, article 86 and 87 of the Indian constitution deals with president's speech. After president's speech, there will be motion of thanks, and the president's speech is not his personal speech. It is written and approved by the cabinet, and it will come to the president, and president will read out the speech. So, you should know in detail about president's speech and governor's speech. And for center, parliament related articles and state related articles, if you add 89, and the same article, the same provision will come if you add plus 89. So, what all in the news, you should know how it is coming up. For example, in the recent past, you are seeing anti-defection law. In Telugu it is called Party Firayimpula Chattam. 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act added 10th schedule to the constitution in 1985. So, as Machiavelli, some political science students I think they know, Machiavelli said there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies in politics. In Ayaram, Gayaram politics, you all know. For that, to stop that menace of defections, to stop the evil of defections, 52nd amendment is there, and in 52nd amendment 10th schedule again they made a 91st amendment. All these things you are expected to know. What is anti-defection, what is that law, and what are the rules with respect to defection, what will come under defection, what won't come under defection. All these things you need to know thoroughly. Okay. So, even ordinance making powers of the president, pardoning powers of the president, the basic core polity along with that current affairs and polity, all these things you should know. 2 days back there is an article, I think last week there is an article in Hindu about the significance of Secretary General in Rajya Sabha. Significance of Secretary General in Rajya Sabha. The article was written by Mr. Rakesh Sood, a very beautiful article, and I thought one question will definitely come from that article. Okay. So, the post of Article 98 of the Indian Constitution deals with Secretary General in Rajya Sabha, that is Lok Sabha Secretariat and Rajya Sabha Secretariat, Article 98, and Secretariat is headed by the Secretary General, all these things. So, you are expected to know the basics of polity and public issue also with respect to polity. And in the same way, we have various subjects like history, particularly modern history. See, in the first session of Parliament this year, in the President's speech, he spoke about many personalities. So, Subhash Chandra Bose, okay, Guru Tej Bahadur, so many personalities who are celebrating birth century, something. Okay, these personalities you need to collect and read. In the same way, take the subject of geography. In geography, you have seen currently the Ukraine issue. You need to know the Black Sea and the adjacent countries in the Black Sea and nearby areas also, in the Middle East also, Afghanistan crisis, so many things you need to connect. In the same way, you should know, in geography you should read about basics, 6th class to 12th class NCERTs, compulsory for geography, and polity, history, geography, economy. Economy, even for my preparation, I have relied on basic newspapers like Economic Times, Business Standard, and then I went for a reverse engineering. What is reverse engineering? After reading a current affairs topic, collect the basic core concept of economy and then do research on that. Even we can learn economy in such a way. So, polity, history, geography, economy, and then the trend is coming up with current affairs, and people think that current affairs are negligible in UPSC, but that is wrong perception. Even a static question will come through a current affair. So, do not neglect newspaper reading. And nowadays if you see the Hindu, Indian Express law, in Indian Express you have a column called explained. There is a column called explained. Every day you follow that. The Hindu, Indian Express, and also better to follow Times of India. Times of India also editorial page. I wish all of you to read at least 5 or 6 important articles a day from the newspapers. Along with that, daily try to collect some factual data. This is also very important. So, you have seen yesterday, day before yesterday, Mr. KCR inaugurated the Yadadri temple. You should know the in detail version of that entire renovation of Yadadri temple or Yadagiri Gutta. And you all know Ramappa Gudi in Warangal, it got UNESCO heritage status. So many current affairs every day. At least collect 5, make your own notes. At least collect 5 current affairs every day and make your own notes. Don't depend on some study material. If you read somebody else's material, it won't stuck in your brain immediately. It will take so much of time. But when you make your own notes, it will helpful for you, and somehow the subconscious mind will help you to give answers for that. So, first complete your basic preparation, even environment, ecology, biodiversity. As you all know, Indian Forest Service Prelims exam and Indian Civil Services Prelims exam, they go hand in hand, preliminary exam, one and the same. The exam for preliminary stage is same. So, you will get good number of questions from environment, ecology and biodiversity, particularly IUCN list, particularly endangered species, critical endangered species, environment terminology, environment basic facts, all these things you can learn. Along with that, environment, ecology, current affairs, Paris climate deal, COP26 recent summit, all these things you need to cover it up. And with respect to international relations, Newspaper is the best source. For example, today we are going to have, I think it was completed, BIMSTEC virtual meet of all prime ministers and presidents in BIMSTEC countries, and the meeting is hosted by Colombo. And today BIMSTEC is very, very important for the examination. Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and academic cooperation. Along with that, if you see India's activist policy, G20, NAM, NATO, NATO is in news. So you are expected to revise all your current affairs with respect to IR. So many students ask me how to read about IR, how to go about international relations. I suggest newspaper is the best source. If you open any newspaper, at least you will get minimum 2 articles with respect to international relations. So international relations also you can go with newspapers. So I can tell you, you study about regional groups, you like RCEP, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. Why India have not joined in RCEP? You can study about SAARC, why SAARC is being dormant, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, why it is in the dormant stage. You can study about NATO. NATO was formed in 1949 as a collective defense arrangement. Now, NATO was a major reason for Russian attack on Ukraine. What is NATO? Why it was started? How many members are there in NATO? What is the objective of NATO? And why Trump is not so favorable to NATO? Why again Biden is using NATO forces? All these things you can collect the information and write your own notes. Okay. So, current affairs and international relations and art and culture. Nowadays the trend is whether the candidate knows about the basic Indian art and culture. What comes under art and culture? It might be a dance, classical or folk, it might be a painting, it might be architecture, it might be even tribal arts, it might be even tribal arts. So these things are very, very important. So what all news you collect? I suggest you even to see the videos of various arts, even GI tags, geographical indication tag. GI tag is very important for the examination. Recently, Nagaswaram, for Tamil Nadu, Nagaswaram, they got a GI tag. Around 400 products in India got GI tag. What is GI tag? What is intellectual property? These concepts you are expected to learn. So, for the basic learning, I think around 6 months to 8 months time you need to spend. And after this basic learning, you have to study particularly writing practice for mains. In mains, you have some subjects like general essay writing skills. Most of us are lagging there. General essay. For that, you are expected to write articles and publish them. Develop your own writing skills. And most of the students in UPSC, they are coming from BTech background. They are unable to write even 1000 words essay in 1.5 hours. That is the biggest problem. UPSC wanted to test whether you can sit and comprehend, whether you can sit and write. For example, whither women emancipation. The hand that rocks the cradle can become the hand that rules the world. The hand that rocks the cradle can become the hand that rules the world. Or, is India a true democracy? Are we really secular? Are we really secular? Or, the problems of vulnerable sections in India. An inclusive society, a myth or reality. Cooperative federalism, a myth or reality. So these are all the essay questions which we can expect. Can you write spontaneously the answers? So writing spontaneously, speaking extemporally is what UPSC expects from us. For that we need to develop a base knowledge. So for that I tell you, try to write one essay every week. Take some topic, write an essay, show it to your friend, read it by yourself for the second time, third time. You will find your own mistakes. Okay, everybody comes to mistake, definitely. And you read, you correct yourself after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks. Then you can analyze what wrong you are doing, how to judge yourself, how to correct yourself. So essay writing. And in mains we have one more paper called ethics. In fact, the title of the paper is Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. One question I will explain you, a case study. You are going for UPS interview today morning and suddenly you have seen an accident where the people who are in distress are suffering and nobody is supporting them, and you know them very well, they are your distant relatives also, nobody is coming up, and this is an interview and this is the last stage of your examination and interview is very crucial to you. Will you stop and support them, or will you leave them there and go to the interview? This is a question that was asked 2 years back in UPSC ethics. Okay, these questions expect not just one-liners answers from you, I'll stop there or I'll go. They expect an analysis of the situation. They expect how you judge yourself. They don't expect that you are a god, but they expect as human how you deliver justice. They really put you in the real-time situation and ask you to judge how you are going to act in that particular situation. You see a child labor working and how you are going to react. You went to your friend's wedding and your friend is demanding more dowry from the bride. What do? He said, I'm not going to sit in the marriage unless you pay more money, your parents pay more money. His parents are also telling, as a attender or as a visitor to the marriage, how we are going to respond? Will you persuade your friend? Will you call police? And one boy wrote, I married that girl. How many marriages you can make? What's the point? So these things do happen. So you are expected to use your brain in a logical, empathetic, humanistic, at the same time not in an utopian way. If you write tomorrow morning I will make India as Singapore, they will think that you are giving a dabba. Okay, you are projecting yourself in a fashionable way. You are not a truly realistic person, but you want to gain more marks. So in ethics paper we should be very, very careful. At the same time we should use Gandhiji. We should use B.R. Ambedkar. As we are sitting in the B.R. Ambedkar auditorium, I can tell you, we need to use Ambedkar's quotes. Social justice should come before the political justice. Social reforms must come before the political reforms. I love that religion which teaches liberty, equality and fraternity. And Ambedkar said, Mahatmas will come and Mahatmas will go, but untouchables will remain as untouchables forever. Gandhiji said, Mother Teresa said, if you start judging people, you don't find time to love them. Gandhiji said, earth can satisfy everyone's need, but not everyone's greed. These things should come like this to write a good essay or ethics answer sheet. Okay, so they are not simple quotes. You can carry your entire answer or ethics story or essay writing with these quotes. So from now on, develop good writing skills. I think this is the best way of gaining more marks in mains, as prelims marks are only for qualifying. Prelims marks are only qualifying, and mains marks really make you to sit in the service. Even the cadre also will be decided based on your mains marks. As you go up in marks, your roster will also improve. And when you pass prelims, you will go to mains. If you get good marks in mains, for interview they will call 2.5. This year, the result have come and they have invited 2.5. There were around 712 posts and 1843 people were called for the interview, and interviews are going to start. I should properly call them as personality test. The personality test is going to start from April 5th onwards to May 26th. And the great thing, if you ask me to tell one great thing about UPSC examination, you know what I am going to speak? We can 100% rely and trust the examination. It maintains a perfect calendar. I will tell you the date. By May 31st, this is March 30th. In the next 60 days, you are going to see this year UPSC toppers. So with this accuracy, I can tell you. Even I can tell you the result week. In this week, you are going to get result. From last 20 years of my experience, from 2000 to 2020, except during COVID period, exam never got postponed. It never betrayed the students who are really working hard. So that is the greatness of UPSC. You can trust the calendar, you can rely the merit, there is no any duplication. Whatever the examination process they offer to us, if you undergo that without questioning them, you will be in the list. So the interview part will be for 30 minutes and many questions will be asked. 5 people will be sitting, and there will be questions from variety of subjects, not to test your knowledge but to test your personality. Are you capable of leading a district, leading a department for the next 30 years in diverse fields? They test your strength, how balanced you are, how efficient you are, how pluralistic you are, how democratic you are, how non-violent you are. This is also very, very important. So, they can't take an Naxalite and go and sit in the, they cannot make an Naxalite to sit in the official position, and he will believe in violence tomorrow. The ideology might be good, but as a civil servant you need to follow the constitutional principles. You are expected to uplift that. So, these are the 3 stages of the exam, and all the 3 stages will complete in a cycle in 11 to 12 months period, and by the time you get interview results, next day morning you will wake up and say prelims exam. That is how things go. Every year we have a notification. And next thing is coming to the examination stages. In prelims, generally the cutoff will be for GS out of 200 marks, average if the paper is tough 95 to 98. If the paper is easy, it may go up to 105 to 110. Never it went for 200 marks, the cutoff is 130, 140. So, why this? Why this? If you know that 30 questions with accuracy and 30 questions 50-50, if you follow certain techniques, you can pass prelims exam. Okay, and I will show you a live example. He is Mr. Kiran, who is from IIT Delhi, and his engineering is civil engineering background, and he has taken chemistry as his optional, and now CAPF, CAPF exam, Central Armed Police Force exam, he cracked with 15th rank, All India 15th rank. So, he has acumenship in writing the prelims exam. He knows the technique how to crack. I think I wish that he will speak all those techniques. Whenever he writes prelims, he will pass. This year also, he is going to UPS interview. His interview is on April 20th this year. So, next month by 20th, he is going to complete his interview also. So, the NAT is very, very important. He is just 26 now. He completed 25 and 26 year, and he already got a job and wrote civil service exam. It is not that you need to by heart. I think that even he cannot by heart all the entire syllabus, entire books on the syllabus, but how he could have cracked the exam with that accuracy, prelims exam in CAPF, preliminary exam in UPSC, all these things, how he should have done that. This is the technique of the exam. Having knowledge to an extent is okay, but beyond that, what is the technique of the exam? This is also very important. This is reverse engineering. Collect all the UPSC last 20 years question papers. Collect all the UPSC CAPF last 10-15 years. Collect all the UPSC conducted EPF examination question papers, and try to read every question and also optionals. For every question there will be 4 options. Read every option. Minimum 20% of the questions will be repetitive. Minimum 30% of the models will be repetitive. So, when you learn this technique of understanding and sitting in the mind of the examiner, then you can actually judge what type of questions we can get in the examination. This is very, very important. Knowing the technique means understanding and entering into the mindset of an examiner. This is important. And second thing, you have a paper after GS called CSAT. CSAT paper is only qualifying, Civil Services Aptitude Test. This paper is only for qualifying, and this CSAT paper, which is for qualifying, most of the Telugu medium students, even Hindi medium students, they are finding this paper very difficult to answer. So, they are not getting through the preliminary examination. Okay. So, if you are an aspirant of civil services, though you are a maths student or non-maths student, start preparing for CSAT right now, from today onwards, if you want to take civil services seriously. See, I am a non-maths student, I have done my BA, I have done my LLB and also LLM, but I have no connection with maths except till my 10th standard. I am very poor in maths, but when I wrote my CSAT exam, I got around 114 or 115 for 200 just by following simple methods. that courage you should have. It's not that always most of the students come to me and complain, ma'am, I worry about CSAT. If you practice CSAT 6 months before or 1 year before, you don't have to feel bad or feel worry about that. If you don't practice and directly go to the exam, then that will be a big setback to you. I think you got my point. Even for CSAT, don't overlook that. Don't neglect that. You need to take it very seriously. That's CSAT part of it. And even for mains, from today onwards, at least have you ever, those who are aspiring for civils here, have you ever wrote a single page any day, properly exclusive for civil services? Daily write 5 pages. How many of you do writing practice? At least 2-3 pages every day, not copying. It's not like copy paste, it's like your own original script. How many of you are writing? Out of 365 days, at least 300 copies. So if you cannot do that and do little bit of work, how can you expect that you will get an all India rank in civil service examination? I can proudly tell that there is one boy called Krishna Teja. He wrote 365 exams every day morning 4:30. Next year he got 66th rank. 365 exams every day morning 4:30, and next year he has seen a rank. So that's very easy. Continuous, dedicated hard work. And see why the people who repeatedly practice will succeed in the exam. The reason being, their mind will be accustomed and there won't be a shortage of words, shortage of ideas, shortage of sentences. They can directly go and sit and write 5 points for everything. So automatically that is the winning point. Nobody, I'll tell you the fact, no one, not even a first ranker, can write entire answer sheet perfectly. Once upon a time in 2014, there is a question, out of all 16 Mahajanapadas, how Magadha rose as a great empire? Then I asked first ranker of that year in 2015 after the results, what answer he wrote? She told, I forgot madam, but I will tell you, I have just applied my logic. I will tell you, I have just applied my logic. I told, what is the logic? Ma'am, automatically geography, history, polity, economy is the answer. What is geography, history, polity, economy? Geography means the location of Magadha, the availability of iron, and the high hills, forts, and the strength of administration, okay, and the greatness of king's history. So polity, economy, history is the answer. And in 2012 exam and 13 results, there is one question, National Mission on Libraries. I asked one girl who passed the exam, who became IAS, what is the answer he wrote? Even I don't know that. The government have started National Mission on Libraries, but I wrote the answer. Then she told, ma'am, I know, shall I tell you one thing? To pass the civil service exam, there is only one shortcut. How to write an answer without knowing the answer. Okay, how to write the answer without knowing the answer. So all the 20 questions nobody knows, not even 10 questions. But how to manage it, how to interpret it, how to apply our logical brain. 1 or 2 questions nobody will apply any brain, because if somebody write Mackworth committee report, if you don't write that Mackworth, how can you write? So 1 or 2 questions nobody will write, but maximum you can complete by having a good writing practice before going to the exam. Okay, so expect this also from you. Study all the UPSC old question papers films and try to find out not only the answers but also why the question was given. This is called reverse engineering. For mains, take all 2013 to 2021 mains question papers. Try to see the questions first. For every day, try to collect 2-3 answers. And one easiest method is take newspaper of the day, read the editorial, write the editorial on your own words, and again check it. Take newspaper, read the editorial, write the editorial in your own words, and again recheck it. Then the simplest way of writing practice. Take every day 5 articles like that, at least complete 3 articles. For the next 1 year, you will see a sea change in your preparation. You will see a drastic change in your preparation. That's how you need to work. And in this peaceful atmosphere, I think I have seen that you can excel in your studies. I don't think that you will get tired with your syllabus and preparation, because even if you sit here, you can study for 15 hours a day. If you study for 10 to 12 hours for next 1 year, next year you will be in the list. If you don't do that, take a long break. Generally, I think you all know. I have, you know Ashok Nagar in Hyderabad? You know Ashok Nagar in Hyderabad. In Delhi there is Rajendra Nagar. In Hyderabad there is Ashok Nagar. And in Chennai there is Anna Nagar. So all Nagars where civil services aspirants will flock. I will tell two lifestyles. Getting up in morning 7 o'clock, reading newspaper for 1 or 2 hours, going for breakfast and having a telephonic chat or WhatsApp, and after that again studying for 1 hour, taking lunch, sleeping for 2 hours, getting up studying for 1 hour, going for chai and spending for 2 hours again, coming back, having dinner, after that talking with the parents and friends for 1 hour, sitting before the laptop studying for half an hour and then watching movie and sleeping by 2 o'clock. What happens? Emotudi. Even if you sit for 7-8 years, it will be done. I will tell you one story, interesting but true. I have passed my civil service exam in 2005 and I got my first posting, this is 4 exam and 5 results. My first posting 2007 January I went, and I came back to Hyderabad in 2012 March. In May, in some academy I am teaching a guest lecture like this, and I have seen few of the faces whom I have seen 10 years back. You know how? You know how? They are the aspirants who are sitting beside me when I am preparing for the exam, and they are still students. The worst part of UPSC is it's an addiction. It's an addiction. What is an addiction? You don't leave it. You don't leave it. It's like fantasy for many. But the thing is, if you want to be in UPSC seriously, for 2-3 years try. Try hard. Try to up to the sky and leave it. I don't want you to be with UPSC for 10 years or 5 years. That's a blunder in life. UPSC might be a great exam, but it won't worth spending 5 to 10 years in the exam. But there are students who are sitting for state services, who are sitting for UPSC, 5 attempts, 6 attempts. This is nonsense. If you want to take it seriously, sit seriously, complete it, 2-3 years, go out. And don't sit on the exam, telling everyone, parents, everyone in the society, I am preparing. What? There is nothing to prepare for more than 2 to 3 years. If you are really serious and know the technique, you can crack it. Take it seriously from now, those who are really. So my life aim is UPSC. If you think like that, start now, work hard, know the techniques, and right now, in the era of internet, there is no shortage of any material, any lecture, any nonsense. Everything is accessible. The only thing is you need to sit and study. And for GS basics, I don't think you need to go to a great teacher and learn as if you are kids. You are not a kid anymore. You are grown-ups, you are already graduates. You can understand anything. You develop your basics and start going for examinations, mock tests, and try to filter out where you are going wrong. That is very important. But being an aspirant, UPSC aspirant, don't spend your life, don't invest your life too much of time. That is strongly detestable.